All right, folks, we're about to get started here. Thanks for arriving here, and hope you're having a fantastic day. We'll just be on in just a moment. Okay, thanks everyone for being here. Let's take it live. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm Media with Media Garcia. Glad you could be here today and join in on this session where we're doing a deep dive on mastering lifecycle stages in HubSpot. And it can really be, doesn't even have to be HubSpot. It could be any tool that you're using for your CRM, customer relationship management tool. So if you're a business owner, you're a sales leader, marketing leader, or even if you're a team or marketing sales teams, even service teams who are using a tool to manage your prospects, contacts, clients, and a database, then you're in the right place. And if you're not one of those and you're curious about how businesses may be using this type of stuff to track their contacts through a journey, then we're still in the right place. And regardless, if neither of those apply to you, then you'll still probably get something out of the stream for that, learning about how we use lifecycle stages. We're going to be doing some reporting and analytics and using tools to, in particular, one called the Sankey chart. We're going to be learning about how to use a Sankey chart, which is a great way to just visualize and represent data that flows in between things, like a lifecycle stage does. The lifecycle stage is a thing that flows. So the Sankey chart naturally is a great visualization for that. And so we're going to do a couple of things here today. One, we're going to just lay the foundation of everything we kind of need to know. Like if you were just learning about CRMs for the first time, but don't worry, I won't harp on that, the beginner stuff too much. We'll kind of set up the stage for that so everyone is talking the same language, so that way people can kind of go off on their own and apply it how it works best for them. And then we'll dive into the lifecycle stages inside of HubSpot, what comes out of the box. So it's kind of like an unboxing almost. And then we're going to look at what happens to companies when they use a database where they're tracking their customers or prospects through different lifecycle stages, and what tends to happen, the good stuff, the pitfalls. And from that, we'll be building up a library of information around this, so that way we can share best practices and what experts are saying about life cycle stages, right? And so I'm really glad and excited to be here with all of you here today to share this information. First, after we lay down the foundation, then we'll get into actual hands-on reporting of life cycle stages and looking at what that looks like and how people do it, and we'll look at some different visualizations that will help us tell stories about what's happening inside the business. The life cycle stage and the visualization of it can oftentimes tell us stories and clue us into what's happening inside our business or your business, or your marketing department or your sales department, right? And so we will dive into that. We'll look at some tools that are available in HubSpot, but also tools that are available outside of it. We'll be going through different forums and looking at other expert opinions on best practices and how to use lifecycle changes to stages and the changes within the stages to get the best value out of it. And so that will be a bit of what we do here today. And if you are sitting there and you're saying, wow, I'd love to have that for myself, then we'll show you how to do it too. So we're going to show you exactly step by step how you can go about building these reports and getting the information that you're looking to get out of this as well. And us at Media Garcia can also do this for you too. So if you're saying, I want that, but I don't want to go through all the steps, well, that's okay. That's why we work with B2B and B2C companies on helping them with their life cycle stages and looking at that, how to structure them, how to set them up, how to report them on them, and how to automate different actions and triggers and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in. Let's get our share going here. All right, good. So if you are on HubSpot, great, you made a good choice. And if you haven't, don't worry, it might be coming. And but let me tell you what HubSpot is. HubSpot is a customer relationship management tool that companies use. That's basically a fancy database that does fancy things. Amongst that, it collects data, and then it incorporates other marketing, sales, and service tools, and to be able to integrate one unified customer platform. With that, business owners, marketing leaders, sales leaders have a single place to execute all the different types of operational things they have to do in their business, like sending marketing emails, scheduling social media posts, integrating search and social ads, and reporting on all that stuff together, and giving sales teams tools like templates and meeting schedulers and sequences, and giving them tools to run playbooks and run outreach campaigns for prospects and leads. And it's a whole slew of tools. And so if you're on it, great, you're in the right place. If you're not, don't worry. Wherever you are is fine, and you'll get another perspective on what HubSpot can do and its place inside the business. I will go ahead and actually bring up a demo environment of what HubSpot looks like here. So I'm going to pull that off screen for just a moment, and then I'll lay the framework in terms of the data that we collect and what companies typically collect inside their HubSpot instance. All right, so we have a sandbox environment here loading up. All right, perfect. So here is what a HubSpot page looks like. So right now I'm in a sandbox environment. I'm on a contact record. So basically this is Kelly, Morris, or this is mock data. This is their contact record. And so I can see their contact information here. And then I can also see on top of that the email, phone number, and there's some other properties. All the properties about this person that describe this person are stored on the left-hand side here. And this is a fairly standard out of the box, like we didn't customize it a whole lot. So this is kind of like what you get out of the box. Know that a lot of this is customizable. There's this center pane, which shows an overview of different information. And then we can see more specific activities, like changes to records, calls that were done, notes that were made, emails that were performed. All that information is part of this activities panel. And on the right hand side is what this record here, Kelly, is associated to. So contacts can be associated to companies. They can be associated to a lead, a deal, tickets, payments, contacts, other contacts. And so this right hand panel, and there's some integration stuff here on the bottom. You can see like Sales Navigator. We can set up and send invoices out. There's a lot of stuff. It's very customizable, a lot of integrations that work within the tool, and a lot of times they kind of exist out here as well. And so this is our contact record. Now, one key property inside this contact record for companies that are building up a database of contacts is going to be the lifecycle stage. This lifecycle stage is what categorizes where people are at in terms of the journey with the company that they're interacting with. So typically, as a default, contacts, and I've expanded all the different options here. Typically, they start at a subscriber stage. Sometimes they sometimes default at lead stage, and we can talk about the differences there. But then they'll move into marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead. So these are all sequential, and then opportunity, customer, evangelist, and then there's an other field as well, which isn't necessarily sequential, but it's just there to tag anyone who doesn't fit into any one of these other categories. The other field could be things for like partners or anyone that you're not selling to, essentially. So it could be your vendors, or maybe your accountant, or anyone that's kind of an ecosystem in the ecosystem, and would typically get categorized as other. So that's what lifecycle stage is at a high level. Let's review a couple of resources so you can hear it from someone else other than myself what lifecycle stages are. So let's see what we have here. Who do we got speaking for us today on our plugin? Let's see. Oh, we got Snoop Dogg. All right, let's pick.
Hi, my name is John. I speak in American English, in Francais, and in Español de España.
Okay, thanks, John. All right, and then I gotta adjust my audio levels, because last time I did this, I did not adjust my levels properly, and then it was really hard to hear this voice. So let me do a couple things here real quick. All right, let's give this a test here. John, explain to us what life cycle stages are.
Life cycle stages help you to categorize your contacts and companies based on where they are in your marketing and sales processes. Using the life cycle stage property helps to determine where a specific contact or company is in your processes, and to better understand how leads are handed off between marketing and sales. There are default life cycle stages created.
All right, good, perfect. So that definitely wasn't John. That was Snoop Dogg, but that's okay. I'm pretty.
What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double-G.
Oh, no,
and I'm
I got
an
rid of
English
him.
voice from the United. What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double-G by HubSpot.
All right, that's hilarious. So it's always better, right, to learn about marketing principles through Snoop Dogg, right? So from time to time, we might bring in other people to share these things, so you don't have to listen to my voice the whole time. But so to wrap up what Snoop had just shared, life cycle changes help you categorize your contacts, and it can also apply to your companies as well. So there's a life cycle stage for contacts, there's a life cycle stage for companies as well, and they generally will usually sync and represent. So if you're have a lead and you're you have an opportunity with them, that contact might be in an opportunity stage, and the company that they belong to might be in an opportunity stage as well. So that's what the life cycle stages are, and they are used to track contacts and companies. Let me see if I can try this one more time here. They always give me the intro, which I don't necessarily want, but that's okay.
Hi, my name is Nate. I speak in American English, in Francais, and in Español de España.
Okay, Nate, thank you for telling me what you speak. And then let's see if Nate wants to share a little bit more about life cycle stages.
Life cycle stages are used to track how contacts or companies move forward in your process.
All right, thanks. That's good. And here are the list of life cycle stages and the sequential movement that they go through, starting again, usually at subscriber. Sometimes they start at lead, and then they'll move throughout. Sometimes folks will customize their life cycle stages. There are some use cases for that, but again, you typically don't need to. And if you don't know if you should or shouldn't customize them, chances are you just shouldn't. But if you have like a use case that you're very adamant about, and you're like, you know what, I want to include a marketing accepted lead and sales accepted lead, and customize other potential stages. Again, it depends on the use case, and so every company is different, every size and challenge problem they're trying to solve for is different. But the key thing is that you want to have stages like this because it helps with tracking your conversion and how people move through those different life cycle stages, right? So that's the main benefit there for life cycle stages. So what else do we want to learn about it? Oh, here are the definitions. So each one does have a definition. Let's go ahead and hear the definition for subscriber.
Subscriber, a contact that has opted in to hear more from you by signing up for your blog or newsletter. Lead.
Okay, good. So that is, someone comes to your website, they fill out a blog, they fill out a newsletter, they typically will be counted as a subscriber, right? This also tends to be the default. This is the default stage that usually contacts will land in as well. Let's hear the definition for lead.
Lead, a contact or company that is converted on your website or through some other interaction with your organization beyond a subscription sign-up.
Great. So a company maybe went to your website and maybe they kind converted through some interaction beyond a subscription. So maybe they fill out a form about like a white paper or something like that, or some sort of premium content, usually an ebook, a white paper, maybe to get access to like a video. Again, it's a give and get situation. So usually they're giving some information through a conversion on the website. Now let's go for the definition of marketing qualified lead.
Marketing qualified lead. A contact or company that your marketing team has qualified as ready for the sales team.
All right, perfect. So the key distinction here is that your marketing team has qualified them, meaning that they've come up with the qualification criteria. This usually could be something like a lead score, or it might be something like we want people to fill out a form and have, XYZ information on their contact record. Like, for example, if you are a shoe store that sells to people with big feet and someone says their foot size is a size 4, you might say that they're not qualified because they have too small of feet. All right, let's hear the definition of sales qualified lead.
Sales qualified lead. A contact or company that your sales team has qualified as a potential customer. This stage includes sub-stages that are stored in the lead status property.
All right, great. So with sales qualified lead, those are contacts that your sales team has qualified. So typically the sales team gets a contact from marketing and they go and they reach out and they might call them, email them, meet with them, whatever is next in the sales process. And the salesperson or team is then qualifying or choosing to qualify that lead based on some qualifications. So it could be that, that they are, have a budget and are willing to purchase, as an example, right? Again, every business is different, so it kind of relates on that. It did mention this lead status property, which let's go ahead and click on that. So it took us down to the bottom of the page here. So it says lead status describes sub-stages within a sales qualified lead lifecycle stage. So while the lead is within this SQL, which sometimes is shortened to that, lifecycle stage, the default lead status options are new, open, in progress, open deal, unqualified, attempted to contact, connected, bad timing. With these stages, where your sales team is then typically updating these stages to track where the lead is at. So again, treat these as sub statuses within your lead stage. All right, let's go back up to where we were in our article. And then we have opportunity. Let's hear the definition for opportunity.
Opportunity. A contact or company that is associated with a deal, e.g., they're involved in a potential deal with your organization.
Perfect. So what this means is that the contact has an opportunity or a deal. And in this case, let's go back to Kelly's record here. So Kelly, which is in HubSpot here, has a deal. So not only does Kelly have a deal, but Kelly has a deal that's in the closed won stage. And we can see, as a result, the life cycle stage is customer, because any contact that is associated to a deal that is in a stage of closed won will become a customer automatically through some automation. And once the deal is created on a contact inside of HubSpot, so let's see if we can find a contact that doesn't have a deal associated to them. Let's go ahead and pick a record here. Oh, they do. All right, let's try another one. I wonder if let me add life cycle stage as a column here. And that way I can just see who's in what stage. So we have a lead, customer. Okay, so let's pick this second row, that's a lead, Shannon Dixon. So Shannon is a contact. Shannon does not have a deal associated to them. And so I'm going to click on this add deal, which would then, and then I got to give a title and fill this pop-up out. So I'm going to go Shannon. We'll just go 5,000 socks and 10,000 shoes as an example deal name. And I'm going to put it in the sales pipeline, associate an amount to it, and fill out the rest of these. So close date, end of this month, sure. There's some custom properties here. We'll call it new business, and we'll click create. So now the deal is created. And with that, I can see now we're on this deal record. So this is the deal that we just created, the amount, the close date, the stage, the pipeline, and I can see Shannon back over here being related to this deal. So if I click on Shannon and then go back to the contact record, and I'm going to give this a refresh, and we'll see now that this deal is associated to the contact record. On top of that, I can see that this life cycle stage changed from lead to opportunity. And if I click on the details here, we can see that that change happened. Now the property is opportunity. Yeah, let's bump this up just one notch. If we can. There we go. All right, so it's opportunity, and we can see that it was set right now through a CRM setting, basically within the tool that says when a contact has a deal that's created for them, move them into the opportunity stage. Okay, so this is a key automation because when your sales team chooses to create that a contact is sales qualified, there may be another criteria that they then choose to create the opportunity. And once they do that, this contact will move automatically into the opportunity stage. So that's one thing to watch for. Now, let's say this deal with Shannon with 5,000 socks and 10,000 shoes. Let's say we won the deal. So now I'm actually going to go on the right-hand panel for that associated deal. And I just changed this stage to closed one. And we'll, let's give this a minute here and refresh the record. And now you'll see the life cycle stage of this contact has moved to customer. And if I go back and hover over and click on details, I can also see that the property value became customer, and here's the date and time at which it did that. So those are nice automated settings within the CRM because it's going to help with just automatically tagging where your contacts are at within the life cycle. And so that's opportunity. And that mostly happens for opportunity stage, the default stage, when the opportunity stage and the customer stage. And you can automate it in other ways too, but those are the like out of the box automations that happen with the life cycle stage. All right, let's take a little sip. Let's see here. Okay, good. So we have our contact record, we have the deals with life cycle stages. We've shown how that kind of all relates to each other. Now we want to look at some of the other best practices that relate to it. So I'm going to go back to HubSpot's knowledge base. Note that there are some automatic updates, like I mentioned earlier, to these stages. And those are when we create the record and there's a default stage that can be set for a record. And it actually the settings within HubSpot look like this. So within the settings page for Lifecycle, you can choose to sync life cycles between contacts and companies, which generally you want to. And then for the other settings, this is how it will come out of the box. It will either set the life cycle stage when a contact or company is created to either lead or subscriber. I think actually by default it is subscriber. So this one might have changed to lead. Again, companies will choose one or the other. And then my preference is subscriber because I like to start at the beginning of life cycle stages and move sequentially through each one because I think that'll give us the best conversion information as to what's happening. Okay, and then next is when a deal is created. You'll see again this life cycle stage will change to opportunity, and then when the deal is won, it will change to customer. So that's how that's working. Let's take a look at what other best practices we can find here. A couple of things to know about updating a life cycle stage. Hey, Leanna Weston. You can do that like we just showed here on this page where you can actually go and you can click the record and update the life cycle stage. That's one way of doing it. The other way is through workflows or through like automation. So you can do bulk updates of your stages. So say you have like 100 contacts and you want to update all of the 100 contacts to a life cycle stage of lead. You can do that in bulk, whether that be through like selecting a bunch of contacts at a time. So let's go back to actually to our contact screen real quick, and I'll show you how to do that. So I can, select a few records like from my screen here, and then I can click edit and go and select lifecycle stage from a list and choose in bulk like which stage I want them to be updated to. They can be edited that way. They can also be updated through a workflow, and through a workflow they can basically be set, and you can kind of set the parameters in which would trigger that workflow to run to set those that up. Let's get our background music back. All right, good. And then what else do we want to call out? There are some properties. So the magical part about lifecycle stages is that it's tracking information about when it enters these stages, like when it entered it, exited, the time in stage. And with that, you can start to even see how long do different contacts spend in different lifecycle stages. With that information, you can see stuff like this within HubSpot that will show you, like for example, how many contacts are at all your different stages, and how long they stay in these stages for, right? So we can see, all right, well, people might be in the subscriber stage for this many seconds, this many days, this many hours, etc. How this helps is that you will be able to get a sense of, how long do they spend in a stage? And with that, you can build a baseline and say, okay, well, typically people spend 30 days in the sales qualified lead stage. So then if you use that baseline to say, okay, well, 30 days is the baseline. What happens at 60? What happens if a contact is in that stage for 60 days? Like, should we be doing something? Should we make an alert, make a note, kick off some automation, nurture them, maybe archive them, right? Like, is it best to refocus our attention in different ways, right? When we see contacts exceeding different amounts of time in different stages. So that's part of the value here, is that we can track that time and be able to see how long are people spending in different stages. Hey Jack, hey bro, welcome. All right, so that's some best practices of the life cycle stages. Let's see if we have any other information we want to look at here. Okay, yeah, we looked at all that. Actually, now I'm going to go to the HubSpot community real quick and just search it real quick for life cycle stages, because this is always it's a treasure trove of information of people asking questions about life cycle stages. So we'll go through here and see what people have to say about this. All right, so block skipping stages. Yeah, so this could be a great topic. So this is from S Man Stay, and why don't we go ahead and hear the narrative on the question.
We are using lifecycle stages across marketing and sales, and all automated lifecycle stages are set up. There are manual lifecycle stages required. MQL greater than SAL greater than SEQL, and back to from SAL greater than subscriber. Is there a way to block the skipping of stages, the same way we can block the skipping of deal stages? This is wreaking havoc with my funnel reports and conversions from MQL to SAL and SAL to CQL. Lifecycle stages, block skipping stages, Smansty.
All right, okay, good. So the question is, can we block skipping stages? And so let's just browse some of the answers right now. Okay, so good. So one item we have here from Karsten Kohler, HubSpot freelancer. Actually see quite a bit.
I bid you a cheerful hello. My name is Erica. I speak in American English, in Francais,
I wanted to give,
and in Español de España.
Let's give Karsten Mr. Beast.
Personally, I hate reading, so I just upload every document I get to Speechify and just have it read.
All right, thanks so much.
Discussions.
Let's get
Lifecycle stages? Smansty.
I wouldn't let users update the lifecycle stage values directly. I would let them update the criteria that determine which lifecycle a contact falls into, and then have a workflow do the updating. Karsten Kohler, HubSpot freelancer, or
all right, perfect. Yeah, so that's a great recommendation there, right? This, like I showed you here, you can definitely go in yourself into a contact record and make it the update in terms of saying, oh yeah, this person is this, right? But that's typically not how it's done. Usually a lot of these updates are happening from different workflows. Now, that's not always the case because someone might be on like a HubSpot free product or starter product, and we can't necessarily workflow all the stages, right? So there still might be some manual intervention, but I definitely agree. As much as we can automate it, the better. Let's go ahead and see what other responses we have in here. Oh, note that this was also similar to the screenshot we showed before. Actually, this one looks like it might even be a little bit more updated. So he's referring to that. So yeah, I think in short, there isn't necessarily like a way to prevent the skipping of stages, which does make conversion reporting between stages a little trickier. So that's where, so it's a good call out, and it's good to be aware of the pitfall, I think, really, of skipping stages, because if you're trying to measure how much was in one stage before this and one stage after this, the before and after needs, if you skip the after, then it makes it very difficult to be able to calculate what the conversion rate was between two different stages when things are skipping the stage. So that is that's a good call out. Let me see if they're okay. So here's another one about deleting life cycle stages. Let's see here. So this one, this person says, I met an issue when I try to delete my life cycle stage here. Let's get a read on this. And I wonder if I can, I'm going to try to figure out how I can change voice people without them introducing themselves each time, because that's getting old. Okay. All right, well, maybe we won't read this one for now. But know that there's the main kind of pitfalls that I've seen, right, is you want to be careful with deleting stages, because with deleting stages, you could potentially delete all that historical information that you might have potentially have. And so you definitely want to not delete unless, again, there's a really good use case for it. I find it actually generally better to just rename the stages to something closer. Like if you say you don't want to use the phrase subscriber and you'd rather use the word, like community member or something like that, right? You would probably be better off not like deleting subscriber and then adding another stage, just because anything that maybe was historically there is going to get lost once you start deleting stages. And so if the stages are similar, just stick with the similar stage and rename it. If it's not, then maybe add a new one or delete one if that's seems like the best way to accomplish that. So all right, so I think that gives us a pretty good sense of life cycle stages and the foundation. Again, for anyone that's watching in chat live here, we're across TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn, and so feel free to put your questions in chat, even your feedback, right? Happy to interact and give you information live while we're on stream, and even after the fact. So if you're watching this video as a recording and have questions, just go ahead and comment, and friendly reminder all to like, subscribe, and share so that we can continue to share and create valuable content for our growth goals. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let's now pivot to creating a chart that shows the conversion rate of our life cycle stages. So I'm going to queue up a report for all of us here. Just one second. All right, so to create a funnel report on our life cycle stages, because that's where all the value is going to be in terms of being able to decipher what's happening inside our business. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this reporting little button here on the left hand side, and then we'll click on reports, and then we're going to click create report from here, and then there'll be an option that says funnels, and we'll click on funnels. And we can actually visualize a couple of different funnels. We can visualize the contact funnel, which is going to be based on life cycle stages, and other things for that matter, but we're going to use it for life cycle stages. So we can actually do a funnel for contacts. We could do a funnel for deals, companies, and even leads. So, but for this one in particular, we're going to use contacts. Great. All right, so now I have my blank report, and there are a couple of different ways I can visualize this in different stages on the left-hand side. I'm actually going to switch gears to a different environment at this point, because I'm going to bring in some real data, because there isn't actually really good data in the sandbox to visualize the report right now. So let's do this one for now. Okay, so we have our stage 1 life cycle stage, or stage 1 of the report. This is what popped up by default. Again, I'm going to put the first stage I'm going to put as create. So I want to see contacts that were created first, and I'm going to save that. And then I'm actually going to create a stage here by clicking on this add new stage, and then I'm going to actually go through every single sequential contact lifecycle stage, except for I'm not going to bring in evangelist. I'm not going to bring in other at this time. I'll leave those ones out for the time being. And so here's contact record created. There's subscriber. I'm going to click add new stage, click choose events, and then now I'm going to add the next one. I'm going to search for it called lead. Make sure that you add the notice that there's like 2 leads here. One is lead under company lifecycle stage, and one is lead under contact lifecycle stage. So I want to build a contact lifecycle stage like funnel. So make sure that as you're building this out, that you're picking the one that's for the right object, and that you're picking in contact and not company. All right, so we'll bring in lead, save that, click add new stage, click choose events, and we'll add the next one, which is marketing qualified lead. Again, make sure it's under contact and not company. And we'll see it here, click save, and we'll do this a few more times. All right, perfect. So now I have all my stages set out here, and I'm going to click on this date range and then I'm going to do data from last year and click run report. And then we're going to get a report back, and it's going to look like this. And all right, so let's take the first step into it. So I can see that for this portal that there were 5,476 contacts created, and then there was a 7.96% conversion rate from the creation of that contact to subscriber, and then from subscriber to lead 11.24 converted, or 49, and then from lead to marketing qualified lead 11.24 created, which was 1, and then we have 0, 0, 0, 0 after that, right? If I scroll down, I can see this information in a tabular format, as well as the average time in the stage is now here. And so those are a few of the things that we can see here. Now, the reason why so few is moving forward is because each one of these stages has this required. So notice that there's this gray required bubble that's on each stage. So what that means is that it is required for a contact to show up on this report. It's required that they go through each one of these stages sequentially. So if a contact did not do that, then it's not going to show up on this report, or it's going to drop off at the next point, right? So So yes, there were 5,476 contacts created, but 436 went from that to this, and 49 went from that to this. And this doesn't show any deal skipping, or stage skipping rather. So if it skipped the stage, then it drops off this report at the point at which it skipped. Okay, so if we don't want that, then we need to make these stages in between the start and the finish optional instead of required. So to do that, we're going to hover back over the stage, and then we'll click edit here, and then there's a little checkbox here that makes it optional. The first and the last stages need to be required, so you can't change those, because if you try to change stage 1 to optional, it's grayed out. The same thing, it'll be the same thing for the last stage as well. So we'll go ahead and make these middle stages optional. Okay, great. And now that we've done that, let's go ahead and refresh the report. All right, let's see what we have here. So now we can see that 5,476 contacts were created. Then 436 moved into a subscriber stage. Either they moved into it or they were created at that point. And then we also have 5,079 that were created here, or moved into lead stage. They also could have moved from the stage beforehand, like subscriber to lead. So we have a little bit more of a funnel, right? We can, again, it doesn't look great because one, huge drop off to subscribers. So in this case, the most contacts are being created as lead. That's probably because they're filling out forms and they're setting them as leads instead of as subscribers, right? Now there are some pretty significant drop-offs here. There's one drop-off, at marketing qualified lead where it goes from big number, right, 5,000 to 48, and then looks like sales qualified lead is not used at all, so that's a 0. And then we have opportunity here, which is at 91, and then we have customer, which is at 132. Now let's look at some other metrics down here that populated. So total conversion, meaning out of the very top, how much went to the very bottom, which is 2.41% total conversion, meaning of all contacts that were created, there was a 2.41 total conversion to the stage. Cumulative conversion is 0%. This is how many contacts moved through each stage sequentially. No skipping stages, right? Which this is 0. So that tells me that of the contacts that are in here, like everyone was skipping, like no one converted all the way through without skipping stages. We can also see the average time to complete the journey. So from start to finish, it was 17.2 days. And the average time between steps, so between each step, how long is it taking? And in this case was 19.9 hours. You can see that here. And now I can see all this in a table format. The advantages with this, you can actually see the steps like before and after. So like it went from contact created to subscriber, 436 did that. Contact created to lead, 5,030 did that. Contact created to customer, 2 did that. And it does that for each one. So then for subscriber, we can see where did it send contacts. We can also see the duration of time in between. And then the next step conversion. So this is between, before, what's the conversion between subscriber and MQL? Oh, it was 2.75. Did this next step, right? Okay. So that's one example of how we can create a vertical funnel. It can come in table format as well, which just doesn't have the vertical. It's basically the same thing, but just not the vertical. There's also a horizontal funnel. I should have showed that to you earlier. Note that it won't work. Horizontal funnels don't work unless these are required. So let's actually make these all required, and I'll show you what the horizontal funnel looks like. Let's go to horizontal. All right, with the horizontal funnel, since everything again is required in between steps, this is showing what the conversion rate is in between every single step of the life cycle journey. So we started with 5,400, then we converted 7.96 of them, which was a total of 436. Then we converted 11% of those, which is 49. Then we converted 2% of those, which becomes 1. And then there was nothing that was converted between marketing qualified and sales qualified, so that's why it goes to 0 and then stays at 0 subsequently. And then we have the same kind of metrics down here below and the table format for the horizontal funnel. So that's how that one's represented. There's another nice one called the Sankey. The Sankey allows you to be able to see like touch points in a customer journey really nicely. Let's see if there's a visual of it on here. No, there's not. But we'll pull in some other Sankey examples here. Let me just pull that up. So I actually like this website here. I've used it a few times. Sankey-matic. And basically what it allows you to do is to build your own Sankey chart. And what the Sankey allows you to see is a flow of before and after, you know, and you're able to see where things are at, where things were, and be able to see the flow of contacts. Or in this case, this is a flow of a budget, this example on screen. But how we can apply this to our lifecycle data is that we can actually use this tool to see a excuse me, a lifecycle journey and the conversion of lifecycle journey data within the Sankey. So let's go ahead and pull up some Sankey data. All right, great. So this is like the table of data that we saw here from the report that we built down here, right? So this data down here. Now, before I made these all required, let's actually set them back to optional. So I'm going to make that change here real quick. All right, it's all made optional. Here we go. Okay, good. So yeah, we were back here at one point, and so we got our Sankey, or we got our, not the Sankey, but we got the data that we can build to make the Sankey. And I've actually already did I copy? Yeah, I've copied that out here, and originally I just kind of copied it as this this set. I'll do it from scratch just to show you real quick. We'll do it from scratch for one, but then I have some other examples that we'll be able to run through. So I'm just going to copy this data out of this table that HubSpot had prepared and put it into my spreadsheet. And then we'll, the Sankey tool, how it works is you basically, you type out the source and like this text, and then you can type out the number within this brackets, and then you type out the target. And then it produces this visualization here. So we can see source, like in this example, this wages 1,500 budget. What that means is, you know, wages is the source, and we can see that down here, and then budget's the target, and then it was 1,500. And then if I update this, it will update the chart automatically on the right hand side. And so I could go ahead and make some adjustments to this just to demonstrate how it's changing. So it'd be something like this, right? Which, yeah, I get probably the left-hand side doesn't match the right-hand side anymore, but this is how we can build a Sankey chart to show how things can kind of flow in between. And so what I had done is I made a spreadsheet here, which we can definitely get over to you, but there's it's a special spreadsheet that, or there's a conversion here of this, or a formula rather, get my words right, that we've used to create that structure of data. And so it takes the source, and then the value, and then the target. And that's all what this formula here basically is doing. And so we can see something like this start to build out. And because I did this already with a couple of other examples here in an earlier stream, I already have some Sankey data ready to roll. But we did some other things, some extra credit stuff on a different stream. Because one, we wanted to represent and visualize how long things were in different stages. And so we had gone through and just manually updated things based on the average time from previous step. So we can see this is stored as a text, like 0 seconds. And so what I would do is I would just go and put in the number kind of in a decimal format. So if things were 7 days, I would just put a 7, 7. And this one's like 6 days average time, so put a 6 there. This is 17 hours. So that's like a little bit more than a half a day, right? So that's I don't know, 0.8 or 0.07. 9 days, and I'll show you why this is important. We're cleaning up this data so that we can visualize it, and we actually created a different color scheme to show if things are moving fast or slow at different points in our life cycle stages. And when once it's all done, it looks something like this. So we have, this is the stuff we copied out of HubSpot. Here's the formula to create the target, the source, the target amount, and the target, and then the amount of days. And then we created a color scheme for it as well. And then here's the final product, right? So if I copy this and then go to our Sankey tool and just paste it in there, we'll get something that looks like this. So here are a couple things that we've already done to help us understand a little bit more about this chart and what's happening here with this set of data. So we still have the 5,476 contacts that were created. And what we did is we made anything that went to drop off, where the target is drop off, meaning it didn't go to the next stage, we made that purple. So purple is drop off. All right. And then anything that moved beyond that then is going to be typically shown in either a green color, a yellow color, or a red color. And the size of the line is going to depend on how much moved forward. So like a big band like this between contact record created, I'm hovering over it, between contact record created and lead, we can see this green link here, right? And it's green because the days were quick, or it was like less than a day or whatever that it moved in between that. And so then we used like yellow to represent things that moved a little slower, and things that moved really slow we represented red. So we have a couple of different dimensions of data that we can use to better understand how things are moving throughout our life cycle stages. We have the positioning of things, the ordering of things, the color of things, which represents the speed of how things move, and then size, which represents the quantity of things that are moving in between. One thing I'm going to do to kind of clean this up a little bit further is to delete anything that has zeros, because when it's 0, it just shows like this very thin line, but you'll see what it looks like now if I get rid of the zeros. 1 second here, make this change. All right, cool. So now I've made those zeros disappear, and here's our new Sankey chart. And so we can see the contacts that are being created, and then we can see the drop off, and then we can see things move through different stages, like created to lead, and then how many went from lead to drop off, how many went from lead to customer, lead to opportunity. There are some other ways to customize the chart here on the left hand side, and like you can change the height, and make things taller, shorter. You can space things out more, bring them in closer. What does border do? Oh, border puts a border on the source and destination items. which I'm not really a fan of personally. The colors we're setting manually, but because we want to show the purple as drop off and the green, yellow, red as speed. Let's see, flows. What does this do? Oh, okay, it's just the opacity of the color. I kind of like something that's a little more opaque. So like, let's do that. Curviness. Yeah, I like curviness. We got other layout options. Let's see. Reverse the graph. Nah, we don't want to do that. Okay. So we're moving left to right. We can kind of see, again, purples, drop off, green, yellow, red. You know, it depends on the speed, the size, depends on how much is flowing through that way. So you can start to, make some assumptions and make some ideas, about what we're seeing here. For example, why is there such a huge drop off between records being created and nothing and them not moving anywhere? So anything that is a massive drop off like this, is going to be a red flag, something that we would want to track right away, right? And then we also have a certain part that goes from contact created to lead as well. But then we can see that it looks like the majority that maybe go into lead again are dropped off, so they're not moving forward. So there are things that are probably missing, that would move someone through these particular stages. We can see only a small percentage, right? But they move quickly, but a small percentage are moving quickly from subscriber and also lead, right? But then when they get beyond that, the opportunity stuff, it seems like the lines start to get, let's zoom in a little bit if we can, right? They're getting, most of the things flowing into opportunity are like yellow, right? So it takes more time for a contact to move in there. And then we have these red lines that represent that it took a really long time to move from, in this case, contact create to customer directly or subscriber to customer directly. So it might give us some ideas, right? Some places to look. One is why big drop off, and then two, why are we not moving sequentially through stages, and then three, why are things kind of slow, like potentially in these places, right? It just gives us some context to potentially investigate. Now I'm kind of curious. I just had this idea. we're gonna do a chat GPT experiment here. Or I'm gonna use some AI. I'm gonna bring it on screen, and I'm gonna share the Sankey results with just a fresh bot, and I'm gonna give it the results, and then I'm gonna see if it can provide its own recommendations or ideas on what's happening, and then two, I'm gonna see if it can produce a Sankey chart. We'll see, right? So here, let's pull in a window for ChatGPT. And I'm going to actually speak to it. So let's get that ready. I would like for you to act as a chief marketing officer and examine this set of data that I'm going to provide you, which is going to be in the format of source, the number, which will be in brackets, and then target. These are life cycle stages, and the life cycle stages move from subscriber, lead, marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, opportunity, and customer. Will you provide an analysis of what you see, recommendations, and produce a Sankey chart? All right, we're doing it live. We'll see if it works. We'll paste the data, and we'll let it rip. Let's see what happens. I haven't tried. I just thought of doing this right now, so it could fail miserably, or it could be the best thing ever. We'll find out soon. Oh my gosh, what is that visualization? Okay, so all right, let's look at this chart. I have no idea what it decided to do here. This might be AI hallucination. I don't know, there probably is some reason in here, but I'm so confused. Okay, so I don't think ChatGPT is ready to do Sankey charts yet. Maybe I could ask it more specifically, because this is a not a Sankey chart. It says here's a Sankey diagram representing life cycle stage transitions. The flow illustrates how contacts move between stages and drop-offs that are represented by negative flows. Yeah, no, I don't think so. All right, let's see about the analysis. Let's listen in on what this analysis looks like. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the analysis, and let's narrate it as well.
Initial contact record creation. Most contacts drop off immediately after creation, with 4,676 dropping off. The majority transition to the lead stage 655, indicating effective initial engagement. Subscriber stage, a significant number drop off here as well, 94. Few. Subscribers transition to leads 8, opportunities 4, or customers 3, highlighting potential inefficiencies in converting subscribers. Lead stage 635 drop-offs from leads suggest a gap in qualifying or nurturing processes. Limited conversion to opportunities 25 and customers 3 implies potential issues in sales readiness. Opportunity stage, a relatively higher conversion to customers 25 from opportunities compared to leads. However, 27 drop-offs indicate potential challenges in closing deals.
Hey, Joe Ruiz from Social Eye Media. Thanks for joining the stream, dude. And appreciate the likes. We're getting Mr. Beast to read off some recommendations for us based on our life cycle stages.
Recommendations. Focus on lead nurturing. Improve the nurturing process to convert more subscribers into leads and leads into opportunities. Implement targeted campaigns, email sequences, and engagement activities. Reduce drop-offs. Analyze drop-off reasons at each stage, especially for leads and initial contact creation. Streamline qualification criteria. To retain more contacts in the pipeline. Optimize sales enablement. Provide the sales team with tools, training, and insights to improve opportunity to customer conversion rates. Review opportunity qualification criteria for alignment with actual sales readiness. Subscriber engagement. Enhance the value offered to subscribers to encourage progression into leads or opportunities. Utilize content marketing and personalized outreach to keep them engaged.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Beast. So we created a Sankey chart here with Sankey-matic. Yeah, we talked a little bit about what's happening here. We also got some AI recommendations from ChatGPT on it. We asked it to visualize it, and this doesn't. I'm still not sure what it was trying to represent with this. And so don't count on GPT, I think, at this point for visualizing the Sankey chart. Let's just say, I'm just kind of curious now. Can you produce a Sankey chart? Oh, wait. It didn't type it correctly. Sankey chart. My narrator or dictation thing isn't. There we go. All right, so that's the question of the moment right now. We'll see if GPT can do that, because whatever that was beforehand was definitely not a Sankey chart. It looks like an arrowhead or something, or like some sort of pyramid stuff. And like I can see this little thing looks like it should fit in here. It's just weird. All right, still analyzing. Let's look at these recommendations, though. So I think a lot of these were actually pretty spot on. First was initial contact record creation. Most are dropping off. So yeah, absolutely are. Things are being created, and there's a huge drop off. So that's definitely a good recommendation. So, and then there's also, like in the lead stage, big drop offs, which suggest a gap in qualifying or nurturing. Good call out. So a chunk of these contacts moved into leads, but then they're also dropping off. And so, again, pretty solid recommendation from GPT to say there might be an issue with qualifying or nurturing those contacts into later stages. Let's see what other recommendations we have. Improving the nurturing process to convert more subscribers into leads and leads into opportunities. Those I would definitely agree with. We want to create more subscribers and also fix that lead to subscriber opportunity. The one thing that we didn't give, we didn't tell we didn't tell our GPT about the time factor and how the hex code actually represents the time. Purple meaning drop off, and then the red, yellow, green for the other one. So I think we missed out one element of the analysis from that, but that's okay. Other recommendations are reduce drop-offs, which definitely makes sense. Optimize sales enablement. Provide the sales teams with tools, training, and insights to improve opportunity to customer conversion rate. Yeah, makes sense, because look, we had 52. Out of, what is it, 52 to... We had 52 opportunities. 25 of those became customers. So about 50%. And maybe 50% is about as good for that company. Maybe it's not. Maybe there are opportunities like GPT is recommending here to optimize in that conversion rate. Yeah, what else we got? Enhance the value offered to subscribers to encourage progression into leads or opportunities. Definitely. I think those are all appropriate. And okay, so GPT, it says, what does it say, Mr. Beast? Why don't you let us know?
It seems there was an issue rendering the Sankey chart due to a technical error. Let me retry or export the chart in a format that can be visualized properly.
Okay, yeah, so I think this is going to be one of those situations. I don't know what it says download this. I don't know what I'm getting into. Let me look at this and see if it actually did it. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? All right, but it made everything red and blue, and I didn't actually tell it to use the hex code color, but this is actually pretty darn impressive. So it built an HTML diagram based off the data that we had created, which is interesting because now we could actually use this HTML, perhaps in other things. We can see contact record created. I'm not a huge fan of how it's all like laid out, but that's okay. Maybe there are ways to fix some of that. So we can see, yeah, source, target. So look at that. GPT can make a Sankey chart. It's just, you will have to download it as an HTML, it seems. And I'm surprised it can't show the HTML file, like embed. Let's ask it. Can you embed the HTML file that you created and just show on screen here? Let's find out. No. Okay. Well, the file worked. Let's actually ask it to do the update around the hex codes. Will you update the Sankey chart that you created to use the hex codes that were in the original data? I'll also paste the data again, but the hex codes represent the purple hex will be for things that move to drop off, and then there's a green hex and a yellow hex and a red hex, and those represent speed between stages. Green being the fastest, red being the slowest. Okie dokie, and we'll put the data back in because sometimes you just got to remind it. If you tell GPT, I found that if you tell GPT to go back too far in a conversation, sometimes it's reliable and sometimes it's not. And so it's best just to kind of refresh in the memory from time to time. All right, we're getting another download. Hopefully this doesn't have a virus. All right, what we got here? Another HTML file, except it didn't do the purple for the drop off. So yeah, there's some quirkiness there, but that's okay. It does have some. It looks like the other green and yellow and red lines are okay, but it didn't do the purple drop off. So it is what it is. But so we have a couple of different options that we could potentially use to create a Sankey chart. This one has other formatting problems, just like you can't, because of the green, it like kind of hides everything else, which is a little bothersome. But more to potentially dig into. I'm not sure how it got confused, but it definitely did. Maybe I'll just tell it got confused. I think you got confused on the coloring because there's a lot of green and I should be seeing more purple. All right, let's see what GPT says. You're correct. I misunderstood the criteria for coloring. Transitions to drop should indeed be purple, and other transitions should reflect the speed. Let me correct the charts link and recreate it. Okay. Let's see. Nope. Still green. Okay, well. Use Sankey. This is probably going to get you more reliable, but I actually did like using GPT to get maybe even just high-level recommendations to begin with. That's what it provided was okay. But at the end of the day, you're probably going to want to have an expert like myself go into your system and actually say, hey, like this is what boots on the ground we're seeing, and like what is actually happening, how are things flowing in between different stages, and from that be able to make informed expert decisions on how to optimize your life cycle stages and the movement of contacts in between them. There's a lot of different strategies we can do, and a lot were actually mentioned here already in terms of going in and perhaps doing nurturing campaigns, looking at broken links, trying to give your sales teams better tools. All those are definitely great recommendations on moving this forward. So those are good. So that demonstrates how to build the data, how to build a Sankey chart. We showed you how to do that. We showed you how to take the data, put it into a tool like sankeymatic.com to build a chart like this. And if you're on a HubSpot system, or even if you're in any CRM, running this type of data, and you have lifecycle data, and you'd like for us to create a chart like this for you so you can visualize how contacts are moving through your database, then you can reach out to us at mediagarcia.com/stream. And on that page, we'll have, in fact, why don't we just go to it? Go to mediagarcia.com/stream, and we'll be doing weekly HubSpot portal deep dives. So how does that work? Well, you either give us the data to do what we need to do, or you can give us access to your portal, and then we'll go ahead and produce these types of insights and analysis and visualizations for you. And each week we'll do something a little bit different. For this week, and where we're starting, is all about life cycle stages. But where we'll be going into the future will be things like lead scoring or data quality, marketing campaigns, right? And so you'll receive a customized report every week. Again, this is you volunteer access to your database or to your HubSpot portal to us, and and basically what we'll be doing is we'll be building these insights, and we build case studies out of them, but we'll keep all sensitive information private or obscured, and so that way the broader community is able to learn and see from real live examples how this is running for different companies that are running on HubSpot. So you go here, you scroll down, you can see all the different topics that we're doing, and then there's an email box here that you can complete to submit your request. So you just have to submit this form on this page to start your own weekly deep dive into HubSpot. But let's go ahead and create a couple more here before we kind of wrap things up, and then that way we can see a couple of other examples of some Sankey charts. So these ones are all kind of prepared, ready to go. There are live examples. So let's scroll out. Let's replace this. So here's another example of a Sankey chart. And so we can see here there's some overlap. So I'm going to see if I can maybe space this out a little bit. Give it a little spacing. Max spacing. Maybe less curves. No, that doesn't do anything actually. Okay, that's fine. So we can see in this example, we have the start is at subscriber, and then we can see the flow information beyond that. Purple again, leading to a drop off. Green flows are fast flows, yellow flows are kind of slow, and then red are super slow. And then we can see how things flow into different stages. So after this drop off, the next biggest one looks like it goes from subscriber to lead. And then from lead, a chunk gets dropped off, and then it looks like even maybe there's a section here, and I don't know if I can click on it because it's kind of obscured by marketing qualified lead. What I might do here, just because I can't click on it, I'm going to change these to MQL and SQL just to kind of clean it up a little bit, and it won't obscure it as much. So let's just copy that again. Oh, I must have missed one somewhere. Oh yeah, I gotta update these ones too. So I'm just gonna update wherever marketing qualified lead and sales qualified lead were spelled out and update those. Copy that in. Okay, it's a little easier, I think, now for me to hover over. Yes. So I can actually hover over now, like the lead to MQL conversion, and see what that number is in between there, which is 70. I can only see that number. It's kind of small, but I can see that the number in between that is 70. Again, the flow into opportunity. And these are all red, right? It's like opportunities, like slow, 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 slow. So we got to see what's kind of happening there between that. I would want to look at what's the big drop off at the subscriber. Why is there all this happening? In fact, let's just ask ChatGPT to do this analysis. I mean, I have lots of ideas, but they're usually you want to look for drop offs, look for where things are slow, and where things are not sequential. I mean, at the end of the day, that's mostly it. There obviously are some other things, that we want to consider. Like, for example, like I can see SQL here. Like in this case, like this company only has one that is like moving from SQL into here. Oh yeah, let's delete the zeros. The zeros are still in here. There's some zeros. All right, let's reproduce a chart again. Here we go. All right, so it's like it's new every time I do that. A little more cleanup. So big drop-offs, right? I want to look into that. I want to look into the non-sequentiality of things that are happening. I just made that word up. And then I also want to look at when things are slow. Those would be, I think, the easy targets, right? And the solutions could be different, right? But let's just go ahead and let's give this set of data to GPT again. Now that's learning a little bit more. Let's see if it can give us some better insights. I'd like for you to analyze another set of data for us. Remember that it is showing the source, the number, and the target, and then the hex code represents whether it was a drop-off, quick, medium speed, or slow in terms of one stage to the other. Provide high-level recommendation what you're seeing. All right, and we'll put the data in here. All right, and let's hear it.
Analysis of data. Key observations, subscriber stage. A significant portion 503 drops off, which indicates inefficiencies in engaging and progressing subscribers through the life cycle. There is strong movement to opportunity 57, customer 41, and sequel 1 stages at the fastest speed 0BB005. This suggests targeted campaigns or offerings for specific subscriber segments are working well. Progression to lead 182 and MQL 47 happens at medium E8, BB07, and slow EB 3434 speeds respectively. This suggests room for improvement in driving quicker transitions to earlier stages. Lead stage, the progression from lead to MQL 70 and opportunity 13 is at a slow speed EB 3404, suggesting delays in qualification or nurturing processes. A noticeable 99 drop-offs indicate inefficiencies in retaining leads and pushing them to the next stage. MQL stage.
All right, just hang on a second, Mr. Beast. So it's getting kind of repetitive. I actually don't want to get all the regurgitation of the numbers and everything. I think I'd rather hear these, just at least a couple of these high-level recommendations. And so let's hear recommendation number 1.
Focus on reducing subscriber drop-offs. Since 503 subscribers drop off early, enhancing engagement at this stage could have a significant impact. Utilize tailored content, nurture campaigns, or incentives to retain more subscribers.
Yeah, great recommendation. Like Mr. Beast had just mentioned, there's a significant drop-off between the subscriber, after the subscriber stage, right? So looking at nurturing campaigns or something to put into place there. So yep, that looks good. What's the second recommendation you have?
Optimize lead to MQL conversion. Slow transitions, EB37434, suggest a need for better defined qualification criteria, quicker follow-ups, or nurturing sequences to accelerate these stages.
Yeah, perfect. So he's referring to this lead to MQL, it's marked as red, so it's slow. And some things to look at that might be nurturing sequences, quicker follow-ups, better qualification criteria to try to speed that up. I'm good with that. All right, what's the third recommendation?
Address MQL drop-offs. With 106 dropping off, reassess your MQL criteria or campaigns. Offer more personalized content or focused sales outreach to re-engage these contacts.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And then there's a few more recommendations here, right? So, chances are, right, the recommendation can kind of be the same. It just depends on whether it's a drop-off, whether it's a speed thing, or whether it's a sequential ordering of things, right? Those, I think, can clue us into different potential tools, tactics, behaviors, habits that we might need to put in place in order to improve the state of our Sankey. Okay, in our customer, it's not just for the Sankey, it's for our life cycle stages, and it's for us to grow, right, and improve conversions and grow, achieve our goals, hit our goals as a business. Let's look at another example. Okay, I think we have another set ready to go here. Let's copy that out and update that. All right, here's another one. And so here's another example of a portal that has also a significant drop-off after lead. So we have contacts that are created. They move into this lead status. I'm not sure why this one is the one between contact create and lead is this pink color. Oh, because we haven't set one there. So is it fast or slow? Oh, it says no value, so it's fast. Let's just give it the green. So this is green. Oops. I want to be careful with how many spaces you put in this. There you go. Okay, so that's yellow. It's supposed to be green. I put the wrong one in, that's why. There we go. All right, so contact created, 7,074. Most of those move into leads. There's probably some automation that's moving them automatically, but then after that, a huge drop off, right? Most drop off into the abyss, and only a few smaller ones at a medium speed, meaning yellow, move from lead to opportunity, and then from opportunity to customer. Again, we can see that some of this stuff is missing the mark in terms of speed, and again, drop-offs are a pretty big concern, right? I'm sure the GPT recommendation is going to say something like, you have a big drop-off at lead, like nurture and engage, right? All that kind of good stuff. Why don't we find out? And I'm going to ask it to shorten the response. Here's another set of Sankey data. Will you provide, just limit your recommendations to 3 and make it mostly a narrative format rather than numbered and bulleted. I want them to like talk to me. And when things are like bulleted, and it's like really great for reading, but it's not really great for listening. So let's do that. Now we got something that's a little bit more narrative format.
From this data, it's clear that your system is generating a significant volume of leads, which is a promising starting point for engagement. However, the overwhelming drop-off rate at the lead stage, 6,558 out of 7,019, indicates a potential misalignment in either lead qualification criteria or nurturing strategies. Many of these leads may not be ready for further engagement or are not receiving the necessary follow-up to progress. Interestingly, the opportunity stage shows better retention and conversion to customers, with a significant number moving forward at a medium speed. However, the drop-off here is still substantial, suggesting friction in the later stages of the sales process. This could point to challenges in proposal alignment, pricing, or decision-making support for potential customers. Finally, the customer conversion rates highlight some success, particularly with direct opportunity to customer transitions. This suggests that when opportunities are well qualified, they are likely to convert. Building on this momentum, consider refining your approach to prioritizing high-quality leads that are more likely to progress successfully through the pipeline.
Yeah. Well, for one, I really liked listening to that as a narrative rather than trying to read off or having the tool read off all of these bullet points, because it's just while the bullet points and things are like nice to like read and scan, I felt like this narrative actually hit it home a lot better. So I like the narrative. I'm going to try to stick to that as much as possible when working with these. And yeah, the recommendations were pretty solid. Here's another set. Let's do one more. Okay, hold on. I think I'm going to reduce the spacing because it was like too much. Okay. All right. So here's another example. For some reason, there's no color here between record and lead. It's probably green though. It's the same problem from before. I must have not put the green color in there. So let's just do that real fast. There we go. All right, so we contacts are created. Most of them are moving into lead, and then again, huge drop off. Then notice that there's this company qualified lead, which is a custom stage. Notice that there's been a portion that have gone into that, but then a huge, most of them have dropped off. Pretty much all of them dropped off. So that is, this tells me that this probably isn't adopted or used in a way. Maybe it was like a custom solution to try to solve something that ultimately just didn't happen, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if the GPT can kind of pick that up and see if determine if it's non-standard. I might have to clue it in on it or guide it towards that, but we'll see. All right, what else are we seeing? There's smaller portions that are going out from lead, opportunity, and qualified. There's some slow ones here too. Customers, again, we can see how much eventually feed off into go into the customer stage. All right, so that's our last one. Why don't we go ahead and feed this information to GPT? All right, here's our final Sankey set that I'd like for you to analyze. Will you go ahead and just like you did before, provide a narrative of your insights and recommendations, and as well, I want you to take note that there is a company lifecycle stage. Actually, I changed my mind on that. I don't, so I got rid of that. I'm going to give you another set of data. It's the Sankey data for another HubSpot instance, and why don't you go ahead and do an analysis on this one as well, and then provide your feedback in a narrative format. All right, so we got that, and let's go ahead and copy all that information into the AI, and we'll see what happens. I'll be curious to see if it calls anything out about the company lifecycle stage, because it's a custom one, and we'll see if it picks that one up or not.
This dataset reveals a lifecycle pipeline with immense volume but critical bottlenecks at various stages, making it a fascinating case for analysis. Starting with lead creation, the sheer number of records, 17,271, is an indicator of robust acquisition efforts. However, the subsequent transitions paint a more troubling picture. Only one progresses to the marketing qualified lead MQL stage at the fastest speed, and 122 drop off outright. While this initial drop-off is relatively low as a percentage, it highlights the need for more immediate qualification mechanisms to avoid the stagnation evident further down the funnel. The lead stage, while retaining significant volume, suffers from a severe drop-off problem. Of 17,271 leads, over 14,081% drop off entirely. Although some leads transition to company-qualified leads CQLs, MQLs, opportunities, and customers, the large volume of unqualified or disengaged leads suggests inefficiencies in lead scoring, nurturing, or prioritization. It's promising that 283 leads convert to opportunities and 206 directly to customers. But these numbers are overshadowed by the volume of lost potential. At the company qualified lead stage, the data demonstrates an almost complete collapse of pipeline momentum. Of 1,970 CQLs, only 3 progress forward, 2 to opportunity and 1 to customer, while 1,967 drop off. This near total drop-off points to potential misalignment in how CQLs are defined or supported for advancement. For marketing qualified leads, the story is similar. Only 1 MQL becomes a customer.
All right, that was actually really wonderful. It pretty much just had shared what I did earlier, but in a different way. But yeah, it was like, okay, how the heck is CQL being used? Because this is like the stage that things go to die. So it's like, what is happening? So yeah, I love that call out by GPT or Mr. Beast's voice to also highlight that. It's a chance to define, is this aligned properly, or is this misaligned, right? And could we be doing things better? So wow, it provided quite a bit of stuff here. Let's hear a little more about the analysis here.
Your pipeline appears to be front-loaded with an overwhelming volume of leads, but the system struggles to maintain momentum beyond this point. Most of the drop-offs occur at the lead and CQL stages, indicating critical inefficiencies in qualification and nurturing.
Yeah, qualification and nurturing. I think those are really good points, and so let's hear about improvement.
To improve, the focus should be on diagnosing why leads and CQLs fail to progress. Whether it's due to poor qualification criteria, ineffective follow-ups, or lack of alignment between marketing and sales teams. Addressing these bottlenecks could transform the pipeline into a more efficient and profitable system.
Right now. Those are all really good recommendations there by GPT, Mr. Beast's voice. And that is our stream for the day. We've gone here for about an hour and a half now on mastering lifecycle stages. We've laid the foundation and the framework on what is lifecycle stages and how does that work and operate inside the HubSpot tool. And then we also looked at a couple of real life examples of lifecycle stage data. And so if you're wanting to see something like this for yourself, well, you can follow the steps that you saw in the recording here, or you can actually go and we'll do this for you, because we'd love to see more examples of this and see, this is like the company's almost like revenue DNA in a way, right? It's like it's when this is healthy and effective, then we're gonna see things. But when their company has like a disease, right, and it's like one that's like hereditary inside the DNA, right? Like we could potentially like look in here and say, oh gosh, that's weird. Why does this chromosome have such a huge drop off, right? So, those are the things, and that I get that it's probably not the correct way to talk about our DNA, but this gives us an instance. The Sankey chart and the flow, the speed, the drop offs, the movement, right, is really like how this is what's happening inside the business, and if we can tune this up and make it more efficient through different recommendations and get better insights, then we can get closer to hitting our goals. And so again, if you want one of these for yourself, you go to mediagarcia.com/stream, and then there's an email box that you just submit your email to, and we'll follow up with you about how to get that. Whether you just send us your snippet of data, you can do it that way, or you can give us access to your HubSpot portal, and then we can go in and just run this start to finish for you. And that way you'll have a chart or a visualization within HubSpot, or using our Sankey tool to see where things are at and get actionable recommendations on where to go to going forward. And so that's what we have for today. Thank you for tuning in. It was a pleasure to share this information with you. And you can please do like, share, subscribe, so you can be notified of when we have more streams. Our schedule right now is Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. And typically it's going to be streamed at around noon Central. Today we started a little bit later, but we also post our schedules across TikTok. No, we don't put the schedule on TikTok Actually, yeah, we do. We do TikTok. We put the schedule out everywhere. LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, they all allow us to set out the schedule. So you can follow us on those platforms so you can see when we are streaming next. If you are in the HubSpot ecosystem, or you're like a marketer or a revenue officer, you're in this space, you find this content interesting, and you actually want to join the show, we're absolutely looking for other experts and people to collaborate with to talk about these topics. And so there will be more people coming, but we are looking for more. So again, just reach out to myself, Luis Garcia with Media Garcia. You can reach me. You can go to our website, mediagarcia.com, and fill out our contact form there, or you can just find me on LinkedIn at Luis Garcia and with Media Garcia. And we'll be looking for other solution partners to work with, app partners, and other experts in the space who can provide their expertise and willing to create expertise so that we can share more of this information out and get people set up and successful. So again, really enjoyed having you all here today. Wishing you a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.